Hello Super Nerd friends, it's me, and it is Saturday, which means I'm really excited to watch the season finale of Korra. Last two episodes today, and I don't really have enough internet time this week to watch it, or probably this month, which is really sad, which means that I need to really avoid everything to do with the online, because it's going to be spoiled for me almost definitely if I do anything online, but I'm really excited. The series, the two creators, they are just their season finales are great. Whenever I think of favorite episodes to do with either Korra or Avatar: The Last Airbender, I never include series finales because it's just, I don't know, they're a league of their own, and so I'm really happy to see that. Also, Brave is out in theaters. I'm really excited to see that. The college registration people haven't gotten back to me, so I'm a little nervous. There was one question that was, what day did you graduate from high school? And I have no idea. I graduated from a 4-year university, like, 2 months ago, and I barely remember what day I graduated from that. So I hope they don't, look at, oh, well, you graduated on May 20th, not May 16th. Oh, we're not gonna let you take Tai Chi classes. Oh, no. So, I don't know. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that. I got my social security number right, so I'm not lying about being a person, so they should just let me in because of that. Lexus, yeah, I was kind of worried it was going to come off as a little peeved in my last video, like it's personal somehow, but it really wasn't. I don't know, I pay a lot of attention to word choice, and yeah, your appreciation did come across in your video, and I'm glad mine was kind of enjoyable. It was meant to be, kind of thought-provoking, just me digging into the two-word connotations and exploring a bit and getting a little wound up and out of control a little bit, but not in a bad way. It was interesting to me. Becky, I love your poster. It's very lovely. Well done, Alexis. That's a good choice. I may have laughed a lot at you being interrupted mid-video. Your intro was cryptic in some ways. I was following right up until the baking. I think you said baking, like measuring cups and kitchen baking, I think. And then I had to rewatch because I wasn't sure if I missed something because it wasn't really connecting, It's like Genghis Khan and then your sister and then family and then baking, which, I don't know, hope nothing bad happened or, something kitchen-y and disastrous. Did I mention people domesticated horses? I'd check, but I can't spare the internet time, especially if I'm going to watch Korra sometime this month. To watch, all my last videos and check to see if I mentioned. I remember the one finger thing about horses, but I don't remember talking about domestication. I thought I already knew, but yes, I do know about cats. I like learning of things about animals, which includes origins of animals. I could spend the rest of the video talking about the difference between cats and dogs and how the domestication processes sort of influence that, but you guys probably know all that, and I'd rather talk about Diamond Age for, I don't know, however long this video's gonna go. I way underestimated where I was in the book. I'm like chapter 23 or something, so I'm way ahead. So I'm not gonna talk about plot things because I don't want to spoil it if you guys aren't up there already. But the beginning was really hard for me, especially that kind of intro section, kind of maybe a chapter or two after Bud dies, like that whole kind of establishing the book was really hard for me, and it was kind of I guess I didn't really have a problem with feed, probably because of what I'm about to talk about, which is, I guess there's kind of two ways to introduce sci-fi fantasy books where their settings aren't like ours, like enough where you need to start explaining things. Where you can start off, there's character-based and there's setting-based. And, there's pitfalls of both, which is, as a writer, either you can, there's a danger of obsessing about, being so invested in either the characters or the setting that you go on about them a little bit too long, and you can't just assume that the reader is invested in these things as you are. Just off the bat, you have to make them care first. But this is very setting-based, at least in the beginning. There's a lot of explanation of what's going on, and to be fair, there's really no way for us to know what's going on unless he tells us, but at the same time there wasn't enough character anything, or at least not enough to make me care in any way. So it's kind of the opposite of Feed, which is very character-based, very protagonist-centered. I mean, it's first person. It's hard to get more protagonist-centered than first person. But, so it kind of reminds me of this book I tried to read called Perdido Street Station. And it's really well written. Everyone I know recommended it to me, like came very highly suggested. But I couldn't finish it just because it was clear that the author was so impressed with his world building that he kind of got lost. And it was just chapter after chapter and passage after passage about this city and all these cultures that I wasn't invested in because he wouldn't talk about the plot or the characters enough. And so there was definitely a danger of that happening in this book. Like, I'm trying to think about sci-fi and fantasy books that do place a high emphasis on setting, but manage to strike a balance, and I'm thinking, like, Tolkien's books and the Harry Potter series. Like, the Wizarding World and Middle-earth are as much, they're, as great characters in those books as the actual human characters, but, personally, and I think this is true for a lot of people, you don't care squat about Middle-earth until you care about Frodo first. I mean, there's just, people generally don't care about settings as much as they care about people and their struggles. Or, after you learn about Harry and you learn about a little bit of history, then you start caring about other things. But also, I mean, the Wizarding World is really fascinating and fun, but you start the book with Harry's it's Harry-centered, and he doesn't know anything about it, so you get everything in a very consumable amounts. It's very slow, and you're wanting to know more. But this is just being dumped on you, just raining down upon you all this stuff without any. Well, you look back and you're like, yeah, I guess there are important plot things, important character things that you need to know, but I don't know, somehow it just wasn't working for me. The style, I didn't like it at all. It was really tough to get through the beginning, which, personally, if we hadn't been doing it for a book group thing, I would have set it down, been like, you know what, you just didn't grab me at the beginning, so I'm not going to read your book. Better luck next time. But, so that was my big problem with it. I kind of prefer character-based introductions first, or at least more plot, at least, something to hang on to, because, I mean, they spent so much time on Bud, and then they kill him off, and it's like, well, it's interesting to kind of see, like, you're kind of introduced to the underworld and crime through him, but it's an awful lot of work just to kind of kill him off, which, kind of speaking about that, my favorite part of the book so far is Judge Fang. He's just hilarious and kind of scary, but really funny. I don't think this is that big a spoiler, but there's, after one court case, him and, like, his two helpers, they go out to lunch at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's so, like, weirdly, absurdly funny, and I don't know, I like that he has, like, a New York accent, and he's just, I don't know, it's just kind of really funny. Just closing remarks. I'm gonna have to do some experimenting with Google+, because Skype is very app-friendly, but I'm not really sure about Google+, and getting the video chat working on my phone. I know Becky sent me an invite of some sort. I think I got that on my email on my phone. But yeah, this evening might have worked, but I want to see if the video actually works, or I can actually get on my phone. But besides that, until I get a job, I'm free pretty much any time. So Sunday works for me. Any other day that we can make things work. Yeah, so I'm going to be tinkering with my phone, trying to get Google Plus to work, and I will be waiting your calls to do time stuff, I guess. Or I can call you when I get it working. Either way, you should probably call me anyway, because I'll probably forget. But yeah, bye!